So what is up, you guys? It is your boy Brenton Biggers here, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about, well, the controversial opinion of which QB is better, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. Now, so in the past, well, I'm sorry with that little cut. It was just my dad. Um, I have rested my case that Joe Burrow is better than Josh Allen. And I thought, well, that should have been obvious, especially with what has been happening, especially this AFC divisional game. I thought people would be like, oh, okay, well, safe to say now, Joe Burrow's the better quarterback. But nope. People still cling on that Josh Allen is better. So let me explain in a full-out analysis why do I think Joe Burrow is better. So let's just look past what happened with Joe Burrow. And let's just look at Josh Allen first, since he's older. Okay? So he was drafted in 2018. And 2018 and 2019, he wasn't having really good years. He was like an average quarterback. Kind of like Kirk Cousins, you could say. Except maybe a little bit worse. And then when Stephon Diggs came, everything changed. He went to getting 90s from PFF. And nobody really... And then people were saying, oh, he's like the second best quarterback. Until Joe Burrow came into the scene in 2021. And they unexpectedly went to the Super Bowl and nearly won it. And I really miss... And then, for example, and this is why I keep saying that Joe Burrow's better than Josh Allen. Joe Burrow can beat Patrick Mahomes both in the regular season and postseason of the Patrick Mahomes. Which, yes, they've only, I think, beaten him like once in the postseason, but you can't appoint, at least they've beaten him. The Bills have only beaten them like no time since Josh Allen was as their quarterback in the postseason. You could say, yeah, they win against them a lot in the regular season, but at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter in the regular season, doesn't it? If you lose one game and won all the games, it wouldn't matter because you would, again, still the number one seed. The only point that win or loss would matter is if it was in like a playoff game or a Super Bowl. And that's what the Bills are kind of been known for doing. Losing before they get into any sort of like big game. Now, when I say by big game, I mean by like AFC championships, Super Bowls. Josh Allen's only made it to one. Joe Burrow has made it into 2 in 3 seasons. That's something to just think about for a moment. The fact that Joe Burrow has made it 2 out of 3 times, and that one time he wasn't even in the season for his entire career, that entire season, because of a torn ACL, and I think MCL as well. That kind of just explains how good I think Joe Burrow really is. Now, obviously, yes, Josh Allen did make it to the playoffs, I think 2 out of 3 of his career as well in 28. I don't remember if he made it in 2018 specifically, but I don't think he did. 2019 and 2020, I know that they did. But Joe Burrow at least have made it to the AFC Championship twice and actually made it to a Super Bowl. So here's the thing. Joe Burrow can win games. Josh Allen, he really can't. That's why if you are in a win situation, I would pick Joe Burrow. There are some things that Josh Allen are better at. For example, arm strength and scrambling. Yes, that is a good point. But now we can get to the look of, I think, the reason why people say that Josh Allen is better than Joe Burrow. And now let's get into the offense around him. So let's start off with coaches. Let's start off with Sean McDermott and Zach Taylor. Which coach do I think is better? I don't really know. Now, Zach Taylor without Joe Burrow kind of isn't that good. I mean, I'm pretty sure he had Andy Dalton for a little bit too, right? And yet he couldn't win 7 to 8 games. That kind of proves to me that he isn't a good head coach. If he was, he technically could have won 7 to 8 games without Joe Burrow. He can't have a decent season without Joe Burrow. And that's something that I feel like why Joe Burrow is better. Because I just don't think Zach Taylor is a great head coach. But yeah, he's a good one, but not great. Can't carry your team, kind of like Brian Dable. And then now we have Sean McDermott. Now, I think Sean McDermott is a better head coach. And I want to explain this one reason why. Yes, he is, I don't think he's quite a top 5 head coach. I don't know if anybody even says he's a top 5 head coach. But to me, I don't think he is. Yes, even if he was making it to the postseason with a more Walmart version of Josh Allen, it doesn't quite mean that he's a good head coach. So that's something I just wanted to mention. I mean, it's kind of like making it into the postseason. It's kind of like what the Giants were this year, where they unexpectedly made it to the postseason, won the postseason, and that's about it. But now let's actually look at the entire offenses in general. Joe Mixon is a better running back than whoever the Bills have had pretty much for the past 5 years. Wide receivers. Yes, Stephon Diggs, I think is probably the best out of this specific group of Bengals and Bills wide receivers. But in terms of actually wide receivers, Bengals have a better wide receiving core. Because Gabe Davis, yes, he's solid and even great in some occasions, but that's kind of it. Tight end, Bills have a better tight end with Dawson Knox, which I'm pretty sure the Bengals have Hayden Hurst, Drew Samples, different tight ends. It doesn't really matter. The O-lines, I feel like they're equals. I don't think any of them are particularly good or particularly bad. Oh, maybe the Bengals, but I don't know. And then let's talk about their defense. One of the more bigger things to specifically talk about. And I think the Bills have a better defense. And now let me just explain. They have so much talent all over the defense. Yeah, this year, yes, they don't have Tremaine Edmonds, but let's just look at the past seasons where they have Jordan Poyer. They have Micah Hyde, Tremaine Edmonds, Gregory Rousseau last year, Von Miller, Tre'Davious White. They have had some very good talent. It's just the problem is some of them just can't stay healthy, and that's the reason why they keep kind of maybe lacking in the postseason. But the Bengals, they don't really have that much talent on defense. They don't have anything specifically great talent. Kind of for example, Jesse Bates back in 2020. I'm pretty sure it was 2020. I think. I don't know. They haven't really had any good talent. Yes, Von Bell had a breakout season. Oh wait, he's gone. They haven't really gotten a ton of good talent. Yes, Trey Hendrickson is the best example of a great player on this defense. But that's kind of about it. Their secondary, especially this year, is kind of lackluster. I mean, seriously, I think their best secondary player is like Daxton Hill, like some rookies. They don't really have a ton of old players now at secondary. It's very young, which is going to be very interesting to see how the secondary works. And it's also been probably some of the reasons why they haven't been making it into the Super Bowl and winning it was because of their secondary. Now, the Bills, they don't really get any excuses. Bengals, they have some with the O-line and their defense. Bills don't get a ton of excuses. Let me explain. I mean, yeah, you could say their O-line could be an excuse, but that's kind of about it. They have a good receiving group, decent running backs, but yeah, not particularly good. But Chiefs haven't had a good running back for a while, and yet they've still been winning Super Bowls. There really shouldn't be an excuse for that. And their defense has always been very great either way. So now you got this. Is there any personal excuse for the Bills? No. No, there shouldn't. And I think that's just the best reason of why. Now, I looked at a video of people saying, oh, Josh Allen's better than Joe Burrow. And yes, Josh Allen has better stats in the postseason, but that doesn't quite mean anything. Like, again, for example, Josh Allen, that's a good example. I'm not saying it's because the Bills roster is just worse than the Bengals. Because honestly, they are pretty mutual. Because the Bills' defense is better than the Bengals, and then Bengals have some better things on offense, but it doesn't really quite mean anything. And obviously, again, as we could see, Bills does have some things that the Bengals don't. Bills have actually a decent offensive line, a top 10 defense, a top 10 head coach. Like, you actually have very good things. You don't have, like I bet you, if Josh Allen, let's say, for example, Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, they both swap head coaches, Josh Allen would be worse, and Joe Burrow would be better. I mean, that's just my opinion. Because I just think Joe Burrow is better than what Josh Allen is. But I also think Sean McDermott is a better head coach than Zach Taylor is. So now you got these specific arguments. And there is one factor of why I say Joe Burrow is better. Because Joe Burrow knows how to win. I'm not saying specifically, oh, he knows how to win and Josh Allen doesn't. No, Josh Allen has won games before in the postseason, as we've seen millions of times. But Joe Burrow has a different argument to this. Let's look back at their 2021 season. The season where they unexpectedly made it to a Super Bowl. Now, they made it to the postseason as the 4th seed, which you're like, oh, it's just the 4th seed. Well, they did obviously beat the Raiders, which they kind of got a little lucky to make it, I think, even 5th place, I think, because of, well, some of the stuff happened with the seeding and stuff. They barely beat them. Then they go against Tennessee, where Tennessee kind of blew it, and the Bengals won that game. And once again, Chiefs blew it, Bengals go on to the Super Bowl. They take advantages of bad opportunities from the opposite side. And that is how Bengals keep winning games. It's because their defense, yes, they're not specifically good, but they're average, and they know to take something in a bad situation. For example, let's say, for the offense, that is. The offense, that's why people have been complaining about Ryan Tannehill lately. And also the Raiders. Well, Raiders, I think, was just lack of playoff coaching, which I don't think anybody could blame that. In the AFC Championship, it's kind of the same thing as well. See, the Bengals just know how to close out close games. That's what the Bills kind of can't do. Like, the best example, and again, this is back at 2021, again, unfortunately, was when they were going against the Chiefs. You thought, oh, they were going to win. There was like 13 seconds on the play clock. They should win, right? No. It's overtime. They get to start the toss, and then they win. See, and that's the reason why the Bills, the Bills just keep finding new ways to just get worse, like, every year. And it makes literally no sense how, but they just keep finding new ways to do it. And I do not know how. And that is why, in my opinion, I think the Bengals, or, well, Joe Burrow specifically, is better than Josh Allen. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. There will be a premiere video that I would recommend you guys could watch. It is very short, so I would recommend you guys watching that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. Peace.